Okay, so I would like you to go out to github.com. And then once you're there, go ahead and just do a /h Maverick Atoms, HMAVERICK Atoms, and hit enter. And you can see me in my snazzy photo here. But what we're after is I want to show you a tool that I wrote called Breach Parse, and we're going to walk through what it does. Now go ahead and click on Breach Parse, and you're going to see a bash script here and a little bit of a description. So you do not need to download this. Let me preface with what we're doing here. This magnet link, you're going to need a torrent, some sort of uTorrent or BitTorrent, and you'll need to download this. And it's also something along the lines of 44 gigabytes extracted. It's a huge file. So you don't have to do this. You can just watch and follow along. You are more than welcome to install this on your machine. I'm going to show you what it looks like. So I'm going to go out to my applications and my files here. And then I have put this into my opt folder. So if you come into opt here, and then I've got breach parse. If you come into this breach compilation folder, which is what we'll download, you're going to see that we have data here. Okay, so this data has a bunch of different data. It's got emails starting with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all these different ones. What's living inside of this is, if we can display it, is emails and passwords. Now you see these ones have weird symbols inside the emails, but there's a bunch of emails and passwords in here, like somebody at yahoo.com and their password is 1234556. Well, these passwords are coming from credential dumps. So we talked about it earlier about thinking about the Equifax or the LinkedIn breach or Home Depot, all these big breaches that happen, credentials get dumped out. And guess what? They show up on the dark web, and eventually they show up in these lists. So we utilize these lists, and we've got, if you click into this, just hundreds of files here, and again, 44 gigabytes. So what I did was I built a little tool that can search through this data and pull down names. So you can take a quick look at the tool and what it does. But basically what it does is you just put in the syntax, you search for something like @tesla.com, and then you specify, tesla.txt. And it's going to search through all of these files for @tesla.com. If you're more interested in the code behind it, you're more than welcome to read the code in here and see if some of the items that we've covered already with the bash scripting and the Python scripting kind of ring a bell. So what we're going to do is I'm going to come ahead and go into the terminal and make it a little bigger. And then I'm just going to change into that opt folder, breach parse. I'm going to run breach parse. So breach parse here. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to say @tesla.com and then tesla.txt, and that's going to run. So again, you do not have to install this. This is only for visual purposes. I'm going to show you in the next video another way to do this. So this is going to run through. It's going to take a minute here, and it's going to grab everybody's username and password that says tesla.com and the username, and then it's going to have all the passwords. And we're going to be able to decipher things from this. So I'm going to let this run, and as soon as it's done, I'll come back and we'll talk about the results. Okay, the results are back. So this breaks it down into 3 files. There is it's cat Tesla. There is a master, passwords, and user. So the master has the username and password, and then the users file has the users, passwords has the passwords. So I'm going to actually gedit the Tesla master.txt, and let's take a look at this. So from here, we don't have a big list, surprisingly, for a company the size of Tesla. So what happens is people utilize their work credentials or their work emails, and they log into websites and probably shouldn't be using their work emails for, and we just use it to our advantage. So what we're after not only these usernames, but we're after these passwords as well. So we see these usernames and we see these passwords, and I like to look for repeat offenders. I like to look for the syntax as well. Remember, we had first initial last name, but we see first name dot last name here. We see possibly, you know, just a single name. There are different types of things in here. So Nick@tesla.com as well. So, you know, it's changed up. I think nowadays it is first initial last name, but maybe in the past they used first name dot last name and then moved to an easier format, or vice versa. They started first initial last name, they got too big, then they had to do first name dot last name. But again, what we're after here is potential repeat offenders. So look at this shark@tesla.com. It got popped twice. And the password is very, very, very similar. So if I were to attack Tesla.com through a login interface, I might spray this username with this password and this password. That's what we call credential stuffing because we already know the passwords. And then I might make some modification of capitalized letters and non-capitalized letters with DADE because 907 and 814 appear to be consistent. You know, so I would alternate capitals and non-capitals here in lowercase and just see maybe if something sticks. So this is something that's interesting. This user down here, 12345, 12345 star, probably not going to get in with that on a company like Tesla, but you never know. But this is what we would do. We would take the usernames and we would throw these passwords at it, and that's called credential stuffing. And then we would take these usernames and all the known usernames and we would spray passwords at them like fall 2019, like we talked about in the last video. That's password spraying. So this is an important and very, very critical part of information gathering, is gathering these usernames and these credentials. Right off the bat, you want to identify those with your targets. So this is kind of what it looks like. This is what I do during every assessment. And hopefully that makes sense and that works into it. In the next video, we're going to go ahead and just show another method and start thinking again about these credentials and how they can be utilized. And then we'll do some other information gathering as we move on and learn some techniques and how we can get information on a client. So I'll see you over in the next video.